Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. And I'm your tour guide around the SWAC, Seawells, coming at you. And today, we're going to continue our tour around the SWAC. Today, we're going to take a trip to Daytona Beach to talk some Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And this show here will probably be the hardest, easiest show that I have to do in this series, because this show here is all educated guesses. There are no right or wrong answers with this preview. So anybody's guess is how this team is going to turn out. So I'm going to try to make the best out of this one and navigate it as best as I can. So as usual, you can check out the socials. I have all the dates set up for the upcoming previews. You can check those out and see when your favorite team is coming up, or a team you just want to see how I feel about them. You can check that out on the socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. We are getting very, very close to 1K. We crossed 950 the other day, and we're growing rapidly. So, man, thank y'all for helping this channel grow, helping this channel thrive. Thank y'all very much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, and you like what you hear, hit that button and subscribe, because we do a lot of great things on this channel. We got previews here. We got Swag Smoke on Thursdays, live 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got our Chopping It Up series where we interview players. We got football season. We'll be doing weekly previews and recaps, and all kind of things in between. So if you want to continue to rock with us, hit that subscribe button, and also once you hit that button, once you hit that join button to become a member of the channel, there's a lot of great things. You can check that out on the YouTube main page of the channel. Hit the notification bell, like the videos, and feel free to comment your thoughts on Bethune-Cookman. I already know I'm gonna be off on a lot of these things with this team, because man, your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue, honestly. So I'm just gonna make the best of it, man. We're gonna have a good time making the most out of this situation. So let's go ahead and start this thing on off, man. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this preview. That's enough stalling. Let's get down to action with the Wildcats. So last season was not great for Bethune-Cookman. Back-to-back 2-9 seasons since they joined the SWAC. Both years went 2-6 in conference. Leads to the exit of Terry Sims and the whole Ed Reed thing. Raymond Woody takes over after Ed Reed's short time at Bethune-Cookman, and this program was flipped upside down. And now, it's anybody's guess. But looking back at last season, like I said, this team, honestly, on the offensive side of the ball, they were not that bad. When you look at once they kind of got their footing, they were not that bad. They finished 7th in scoring offense, averaging 23.5 points per game. They were, when I say not that bad, I mean offensively. They finished 5th in total offense at 365 yards per game. They averaged 5.6 yards per play, which was actually top 4 in the conference. So they were a pretty explosive offense, moving the ball. Running wise, they finished 8th at 144 yards per game, and they averaged 4.5 yards per carry, which was also 4th. So even though they did not gain a lot of yards total, they were pretty efficient running the ball. So they had a pretty solid running attack. In the passing game under Jalen Jones, was actually third at 221 yards per game. They had 14 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. The 13 interception tied for the most in the league thrown by any offense. Well, the second most, excuse me. Second most in the league by any offense. Where this team had problems was on the defensive side of the ball. They were last in scoring defense, giving up 39.5 points per game. Total defense, they were also number 10 at 411 yards per game, gave up 6.1 yards per play. The Russian defense, again, not good. 10th place, giving up over 200 yards per game and 4.9 yards per carry, which were the second most yards per carry average for the league. And passing defense, they were ninth, giving up 204 yards per game, 21 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. The opponents completed 63% of their passes, which was the second highest percentage allowed by a defense. So as you can see, the offense was okay once they kind of got their footing. Defensively, they were just horrendous. Defensively, they never were able to stop anybody, and that's a big problem when you can't stop anybody, regardless of how your offense moves the ball. If you can't stop anybody, then you're gonna struggle to win games. And when you look at third down conversion rate, which is something big to me, they were actually fourth on offense in third down conversion rate at 39%. So they did a good job moving the ball, but they were last in defensive third down conversion rate at 46%, almost 47%. So they were not getting off the field on defense, and that is, that's tough. And they gave up 52% on fourth down. So even if they stopped you on third down, they still pretty much allowed you to convert on fourth down, which extends so many drives, and that keeps you on the field too long, and it wears you down. They were next to last in sacks as a defense with only 20. And they offensive line was not good. They allowed 42 sacks on the season. So that was probably their biggest issue on offense with the O-line, and defensively they just could not stop anybody. The one place they did shine was in the return game. Kickoff returns, they were actually fourth in the league, averaging 20.7 yards per return with 2 touchdowns. They have probably the best returning kickoff return man in the league in Darnell Dees. He put up great numbers last season. 28 returns, 745 yards, averaged 26.6 yards per return with 2 touchdowns. So that's probably your biggest weapon coming back this season that we know of, because I do feel like he will be busy in the return game. Now the punt return game was a different story. They only averaged 2.2 yards per return, so they just did not do well on punt returns. This was another team that kind of struggled with the punting game. They gave up 3.5 yards per return to the opponents and averaged 33.5 net yards per punt. They only averaged 37.5 yards per punt overall. So that's something that can definitely be improved on. Like I said, it's not too much you can definitely make out of a team that went 2-9. I mean, obviously you go 2-9, everything is bad. Everything needs improvement. Even your parts that shine, they need improvement. And this team this season is a whole new ball game. I mean, they brought in so many new guys. I think the last time I heard the number was like 60, maybe more. That leads to so much uncertainty. I mean, you can't say for certain, who's gonna do what, because there's holes all over this team. When you look at the SWAC talk returning starters numbers, the defense actually returned 8 guys as far as my projection go. But a defense that was basically last place or close to last place, returning 8 guys, is that a good thing? You do lose your top guys on your defense, which hurts a lot. When you don't have a lot of you're losing like your top 4 tacklers on this defense, and that's something tough to deal with. When you're losing guys who who had over 50. You losing 4 guys who had over 50 tackles apiece on defense. That's tough, especially when you didn't have a great defense to begin with. You do return your leading guy in tackles for loss, so that kind of helps you a little bit. And you're leading, and so those kind of things kind of hurt. You do return one of the best defensive backs in the league in Omari Hill Robinson, so that helps. That helps a lot. Other than that, defensively, there's a lot of room for playing time for guys, and bringing in so many guys from the FBS to help out with it. The opportunities for playing time is there. Young guys, freshmen, are guys who also may get an opportunity to play. It's a lot of space and a lot of place and a lot of time for things to really develop. So I really don't mind too much having a team that can make some things happen, and that just leads to so much open space. Offensively, the numbers are even more bleak. I count like 4 starters coming back. That also includes a couple guys on the offensive line who started. You do lose your top running back. You do lose your top quarterback. You do lose your top receiver who transferred to a conference opponent, to your in-state rival. You lose your top tight end, who was one of the top best tight ends in the league. Just a lot of losses on this side of the ball. You also lose your third receiver. So there's a lot of playing time on offense for guys to come in and take over. One spot I will say that I feel like I can probably put a guy who I think will take a job is Cam Ransom at quarterback, transfer from McNeese. I think he will probably take the job, but until you get your line settled, until you get other guys to help out, how much can a guy like that do? I mean, can he take over some things on his own and make them happen? That remains to be seen. The main questions with this team, and to me, there are a lot. First off, you got a new head coach who doesn't, who's new to the program, new to the conference. How is Coach Woody gonna do? Is he gonna be able to, help this team develop? Is he the right man for the job? That's something that has to always be measured when you bring in a guy like that. So much unknown to this team, and that makes it hard. I mean, you're not working with a good foundation from last season, so everything is up in the air. How he will do, how he will handle running this program, is a huge factor. So many new faces all over the field. This is definitely a team you're going to need a program to know these guys, and it's going to take some time for them to come together. Are they going to buy in with so many new guys, so many guys transferring in, so much turnover? Are guys going to buy in? And maybe they are right now, maybe they're not. We don't know. We won't know that until the season starts, and we probably won't even really know that till mid-season. How these guys are truly buying in, and I feel like this is a year zero. So to me, this is like a year where you just start to lay the foundation and build for the future. Hopefully next season you won't have to bring in so many guys. I think they already have like 6 commits for the 24 class. That's a great start. Being able to start to identify and get in guys who you want. Not so much guys that you have to get because you came in behind the 8 ball. That 24 class is probably going to be the true building block for this program, because those are guys that you definitely want. Those are the guys that you sought out, and those are the guys that you're going to get to buy into what you're doing I feel like a lot of this group is stopgap measures. That's not to say that these guys can't play. That's not to say that these guys don't have talent. That's not to say that they don't want to be there. The coaches don't want them now. That's just saying to me that when it's like playing Madden and you spend all your salary cap money. You need to you use your low money on a lot of guys to fill your roster or something like that. So I just feel like you're kind of filling holes right now because you need to. You'll get better with that as you continue to work your way around the state of Florida, which is a great recruiting ground. Coach Woody definitely has a lot of connections all over the state, so that's to me a great thing. Can the defense improve? That's a huge question. I mean, I think the defense is gonna have to get better because to me, if they don't, this is definitely gonna be an ugly season. I feel like the defense is gonna have to carry their weight. They're gonna have to carry their weight in a big way on this team because one way or the other, the offense is gonna struggle until they can, get some kind of identity. Which to me is another thing. What the identity of this team is gonna be like. How are the schemes gonna be on both sides of the ball? That's something that we'll find out as outsiders. That's something that we'll find out as we see this team play. If you're connected and you've been to practice or you got an insight in it, then you probably already know. But for those of us who are outside, it's tough to find out because there's not a lot of waves that come out of Bethune-Cookman, so we don't really know what's going on. A lot of what we find out is gonna be when the season starts. So what the identity of this team is, who knows? To me, the main goal for this program this season is to be competitive. I mean, yes, you would love to win games, and yes, if you're a big time Bethune-Cookman fan, you may say this team can win X amount of games. Some people will say this team may not win a game. That all remains to be seen. That's the theme of this show today. That all remains to be seen. We don't know. I don't know how many times I said we don't know. I don't know how many times I said we'll see. I don't know how many times I said we make educated guesses with this team because right now we don't know. And that's the fun and frustrating part of this episode is that I don't have anything really to say, with 100% fact, like a lot of teams. So a lot of this is honestly just just trying to feel my way around and get a general idea for this team, and it's tough. So to me, the main thing is to build for the future and compete this season. Now if you can get a win or two because this is the SWAC and crazy things happen. If by mid-season, you can find yourself in a decent spot, maybe you can win, 2, 3, 4 games. I don't know right now. I don't really see it, but stranger things have happened. So I don't want to write this team off 100% without seeing them in action. But it's tough for me to make a prediction on anything without knowing who any of the guys are that are going to play in a lot of these positions. So that leads us to the schedule, and boy, this is pretty easy for me right now. My prediction is not going to be pretty. So if you're a Bethune-Cookman fan, you can go ahead and hate me for this episode. Just make sure you subscribe and come back during the season. But you can not like what I'm about to say because I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't see a lot of W's on this schedule as my catchphrase is now. As we sit here on this date, I don't see a lot of wins. So I'm gonna save you the trouble and save the trouble on blowing smoke at you with dubs because right now I don't see it. That doesn't mean when the season starts and the team is playing a certain way that they can't win games. I'm not saying they 100-point underdogs in a lot of these games, but right now when I look at Team A and Bethune-Cookman, I'm going with Team A because I know more about them. They may have hidden ballers at Bethune-Cookman. That whole team might be some remember the Titans, replacement type stuff. But right now I don't know. So looking at the schedule, let's run through it. Again, not gonna be pretty. September 2nd, you open up at Memphis. That's an L. I mean, there's no other way to say it nicely. Um, this team opening up against an FBS opponent is tough. I know schedules are made in advance, and nobody knew this when this game was signed. But if anybody needs to play a Lincoln or a Virginia Lynchburg, it's Bethune-Cookman, man. You need to play a Florida Memorial Week 1, get you some momentum and some hype and a home game to open up your schedule. But that's not what this is. You're playing Memphis. That's an L. Savannah State on September 9th is probably the biggest game on the schedule because, to me, you cannot afford to lose this game. I mean, if you lose this game, then I don't think you will win a game. I don't like to pick SWAC teams to lose these 2 games, and I'm not going to pick them to lose this game. So I think they'll win this game as their home opener. Very next week, on a short week, you go to Miami on Thursday to take on the Hurricanes. They already bombarded you last season. With some better talent. They already bombarded you by a score of 70-13. So, it's not going to be pretty. I mean, you scored 26 points in your last 3 matchups against Miami. So I don't really think you're going to probably score very many points in this game. And I think that you're going to find it tough to win this game. Not even win it, let alone be competitive enough to make this anything. So I'm definitely marking that off as an L. September 23rd, you go to Jackson to take on the Tigers of Jackson State. Again, another tough task. 3rd game on the road in 3 and 4 weeks. I don't see it, man. They blew you out last season. This Jackson State team is going to be different, but I think they have enough talent to take care of business in this game. You get a bye week on the 30th, and then on October 7th, you go to the Gump to take on Alabama State. They beat you by 15 at home on your homecoming last season. Bama State's offense is not good, so maybe this could be one of those games that you circle as a game that could be an opportunity for you to find a way to get a dub. But right now, I like Bama State because their defense is really solid and they're playing at home. October 14th, you take on Texas Southern for homecoming. I think TSU's offense is going to be more than enough to get them through this game. I think the defense is a lot better than some people give them credit for. And I think that they'll take care of business in this game. It's going to be a tough task to stop this offense. And without knowing what anything that Bethune-Cookman has right now, it's tough to pick them to win anything. And that same thing goes for October 21st in Jacksonville against Southern. I mean, like I said, you can catch one of these teams. I don't even know I don't even know who your starters are. And a team like Southern, I think it's going to be in the mix for the West. It's going to be a tough matchup for you. Maybe who knows? But I don't think you get this one. Same thing with Grambling again. I don't think Grambling is going to be a world beater, but I think they have enough talent to win this game, especially at home in the whole. I think Grambling will win this game. And again, this is another game away from home. This is your 6th game out of 8 away from home. You don't have a lot of home games. That's another thing that kind of hurts this team. You only have 4 home games on your schedule, and you're playing away from home the bulk of the first portion of the season. And I think that's going to add up and catch up with you. November 7th on a Thursday. That's a short week. You get Valley at home on ESPNU. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess they need Thursday night games. And, I don't know if this is going to make for great TV. I think Valley's doing some really good things right now, recruiting. I think Bethune-Cookman is, bringing in a lot of guys. I don't know if this season either one of these teams are going to be very good. So if I had to pick Bethune-Cookman to win a SWAC game, I would pick this game. This is a total 50-50 game because who knows what either one of these teams are going to be. Bethune-Cookman and Valley, I think Bethune-Cookman beat them last season, so maybe this will be their one SWAC win on the season. That takes you to November 11th. You host Alabama A&M again. This is a matchup that's another televised game on HBCU Go. Um, it's senior day. Um, I think A&M is going to get by you. Last season they beat you by 8, so maybe this offense can, maybe by this portion of the season you're playing decent enough football and Bama A&M is struggling. Maybe you catch them. I feel like the only way this team will win a game this season right now, like I said, as my catchphrase goes, as I sit here today, is catching a team off guard. Catching a team in a trap game, catching a team, reeling off a tough loss or coming off of a great victory. I think this team is going to have to ambush somebody to get a dub right now. When we do our weekly previews during the season, maybe things are different and I look at it different. But right now, I don't see anything for certain on the schedule. And the Florida Classic closes out the season on November 18th in Orlando. The Rattlers have won 2 in a row. I think they make it 3. It's gonna be, in these kind of games, they say you can throw the record out, and you can at times, but right now I don't think that these two teams are even on the same field right now. So this is a very, this is one of my probably one of my least positive previews. I didn't want to be that way, but I don't see a lot to say nicely, and I don't want to blow smoke up nobody's ass. Because I don't want to make it sound like I'm just sunshine and roses, but sometimes you have to, you have to get the good and the bad, and today was not pretty. So that leads me basically to a season of 2-9 again. This time 1-7 in conference. There are a couple games I consider could be swing games. Bama State is a game I think could be a swing game. Maybe A&M and maybe Grambling. Those are 3 games that I think could be swing games. I'm not saying they are. Anybody else, I think it's going to be, how that team's playing coming into that game. So that gives them a ceiling of 4-7. I can't go any higher than that. I mean, anything higher than that, I'm just totally throwing out numbers at that point. So the floor, I think, is 1-10. If they lose to Savannah State, then this team won't win a game. I'll go on record and guarantee if they lose to Savannah State, they won't win a game. So I think I think Savannah State is definitely a must win. I hate to say that about a D2 game in the second game of the season, but this team doesn't really have a lot to really hang their hat on right now, and I really don't like being as negative as I'm being right now. I'm always trying to find the best out of anybody, but I just can't see it without knowing anything. And if I'm gonna say that about a lot of other teams, then I have to definitely say it about this team. There's just not a lot of certainty for me as an outsider to say that this team is this or that. I mean, if you got maroon and gold glasses, you might see 6 wins. You know what I'm saying? You might see your FBS guys being the best thing walking, and maybe they are. But as an outside guy, I don't see it right now. I want to be proven wrong. I love to be proven wrong. I don't like to be wrong, but I like to be proven wrong. So maybe Bethune-Cookman will prove me wrong, and the record will be better than what I'm predicting, which again is 2-9 and 1-7 in conference. This show was not easy, man. This was not a fun episode. Next week should be a better episode as far as my enthusiasm, because I don't like to do negative previews, and I think this kind of went a little bit more that way than I wanted it to, but I had no real way of saying what I needed to say without saying it that way. So next week on Sunday we'll be back with our FAMU preview, and that next Wednesday is Grambling, and then the next Sunday is Jackson State. So 3 big ones coming at you. SWAC Smoke live on Thursday, episode 101, and got a couple of other shows that we're gonna be dropping throughout the week. Should have one dropping on Tuesday. More information can be coming to you on that on Monday. So y'all stay tuned to the socials. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and that like button, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. We up out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good day, and we'll catch y'all another edition of SWAC Talk I'm your tour guide, and I'm out. Peace.